So you're also going to need some plant-based chicken. I got this from Walmart. It's called Ultimate Plant-Based Chicken Fillets. It is actually really good. So it comes frozen, and what I did was I just defrosted for about 2 minutes. Then I cooked it for a minute and just let it get a little soft. And then what I did was I cut it up into fine pieces, chopped pieces, because you don't want to have those big tenders for your chicken or your, sesame chicken. And that's how I got these little chunks. So you do that. You're also gonna need some green onions chopped up. So I did this prior to recording just to save some time in recording. You're also gonna need some vegetables, whatever you want to put in your fried rice. You can put. I just did carrots and broccoli, carrots and peas. You will also need some rice, either a white rice, brown rice, whatever you prefer. I did brown rice. I cooked it in the pressure cooker for about 12 minutes, and it just made time go a little faster. You can cook the rice on the stove, however you prefer. You're gonna need soy sauce. I have 3 different ones. One is like the gluten-free one. I have low sodium, and I also have just a regular soy sauce. So you can choose between which ones you want to use. You don't have to use all 3, but I choose to use all 3 of them. Let's see. You're also going to need some agave. This is just a little more sweetener to it. I didn't put the agave inside of mine, but you can if you want to. You'll need some just egg, vegan just egg, which is great for, coating the chicken, and also to inculcate in your fried rice. You'll also need some rice vinegar, some sesame oil, some cornstarch. This is to have thicken up the sauce after you make it. Also gonna need some sesame seeds. Of course, sesame chicken is not right without sesame seeds to complete the look. Some vegetable oil, olive oil, whatever oil you prefer to use. You're also gonna need some brown sugar. And you're going to need some vegan butter. I'm doing the Country Rock plant-based vegan butter, olive oil, and I'm also doing a little bit of the Earth Balance vegan butter as well. So you don't have to use both. You can just choose whatever you want. I like to taste of both together. You're just going to need another mixing bowl. You're going to need a measuring cup, some measuring spoons, and also, of course, your wok. Or if you don't have a wok, you can use a frying pan or whatever. I'm going to use a wok for mine. And I'm going to use the same wok to make the rice, the sauce, and also the sesame chicken. So here I am just preheating the oil. You're going to just put a little bit in there, not too much. I will say about equivalent of 3 tablespoons possibly. I didn't measure mine, but it just not a lot, just enough to basically get the chicken in there and cook it. You don't want to deep fry it, so don't fill the whole thing up with oil, just like the base of it. So as that heat up, I am going to start basting my chicken. So to baste my chicken, to baste my chicken, you're going to add the just egg in there. I'm going to put 2 tablespoons. You can put 3 if you want, but I think 2 is just enough for the amount of chicken I'm going to make. I only did 1 bag. If you're going to use 2 bags, if you have a larger family, you want to actually add more egg because you need to coat a lot more of the chicken. The reason I'm doing this, chicken comes already batter on top, but I want that same consistency as I have if I do regular chicken when I make my sweet and sour chicken. So I want that cornstarch, crunchy on all sides. So that's why I'm doing this method, and it give you more of that feel of that actual chicken for sesame. So I have my cornstarch, I have my just egg, and I'm just making add a little more cornstarch to the plate. You just want to dust your chicken with the cornstarch, so you don't need a whole lot. So that's why I'm just using the plate, just to dust it with the cornstarch. You give it that country. Me personally, when I eat like sesame chicken, German toast chicken, sweet and sour chicken, I like a little coating on mine. I like mine to be crispy, if that makes sense. I don't want it real thick, but I want that crispiness as well. So that's where that egg and that cornstarch come into play. I'm gonna have that chicken have that chicken have that, you know, extra crunch that you may want. And also it helps the sauce to get coated on it a lot easier. So I'm making an assembly line. We're gonna take the chicken, we're gonna dip it in the egg, and then we're gonna dip it in the cornstarch, and then I'm gonna sit it inside of the strainer with the bowl at the top just to catch the excess cornstarch. So that's what I'm doing now, just dipping the chicken in the egg and the cornstarch. And we're just gonna do that process. So we're just finishing coating, battering the chicken. So we're coming to the end of that, and then once you have all the chicken fully, you know, coated with the egg and also with the cornstarch, you're gonna just take the little strainer and just do a little, basically shake into it like a sifting to get that excess cornstarch off of it. So like I say, you don't want too much cornstarch on the chicken, because you don't want the chicken to be extra thick. You want just enough to make it crunchy. So that's why here I'm just sipping off that excess cornstarch, so that I don't have too much excess inside of the oil, and also so my chicken is not super thick, or plant-based chicken, should I say, because it's not real chicken. So now we're doing that, and then I'm gonna clear everything away. So I'll clear everything up. So now what I'm gonna do is mix together my sauce. So you're gonna have some rice vinegar. I think I did 2 tablespoons of the rice vinegar. So we're gonna add that in there. And then after that, I am going to take on some of the soy sauce. I think I did 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. We'll see. So yeah, it's 1, 2. Oh, okay, yeah, 3. And you don't have to use that, so you can do low sodium if you worry about, you know, the saltiness of it. And then I'm gonna add no sesame oil. I think I did a ½ tablespoon of sesame oil, because I personally like a lot of sesame oil, but the sesame oil is very kind of overpowering, so just a little bit goes a long way. You don't want to do too much, because then it's gonna, your food gonna taste a little off. I learned that the hard way, maybe a few months ago. I think something Chinese, and I used some sesame oil, and it's just like sesame oil, so it's kind of threw the flavor in off. So just like a half teaspoon of sesame oil. Then I think I'm gonna do a little chili oil, and it's gonna give a little kick, a little spice. Chili oil is really, really spicy. So once again, I think I did 1 teaspoon or tablespoon, 1 hour half, I believe. But if your palate is not strong enough for spicy food, just do like a half teaspoon. But I like a little kick to my food, so that's my family. So I did a little bit of chili oil on that. And then after that, I'm going to add in my brown sugar. Now, I like the taste of the sweet and spiciness. You don't have to do the chili oil. You can just do brown sugar, but I like the taste of the sweet and spicy, so that's why I did add the chili oil into that. And I believe for the brown sugar, I'm going to do 3 or 4 tablespoons. I'm just washing off the tablespoons, the measuring spoons right now, and I believe I used 3. Now, once again, as you're making the sauce, you want to taste it as well. Because if you want to like a little sweeter, if you want to that sweet, you don't have to use as much brown sugar. You can use more, so it's totally up to you and your palate. I think I did 2 or 3, and then after I taste, I add another one, so maybe possibly about 4 tablespoons. So that's 1, 2, 3. And I believe I go back and add 1 more after I taste, because it wasn't balanced enough for me yet. And I'm adding in 1 cup of water. Now, I was so upset because when I went to the grocery store, I forgot to get vegetable oil. All I had in my fridge was chicken broth, and I couldn't use that, so I had to use a little bit of water. But you can use vegetable oil if you don't use to have, if you don't want to do just water. But I thought I had some vegetable oil, and I did. I mean, not vegetable oil. I'm sorry, vegetable broth. So I'm just stirring it up. You see my dog in the background. She's playing with her toys. So I'm just gonna mix that up very well. So we're just gonna mix this up very well. Just keep stirring it. Add a little taste there. It was fine. And then I was like, oh, we need a little more sweetener. So I'm adding in, I believe, 1 more thing of the brown sugar. So I think I did 1 or 2. 2. So I did a total of 5. And honestly, I didn't do total. I think that's a 1/4 cup. I didn't do full cup. So now I'm just going to add some minced garlic to the sauce. Did 1 tablespoon of garlic. I absolutely love garlic in my food. I think I cook garlic for everything. So I'm adding in 1 tablespoon of garlic, just to give the sauce a more kick, a little more flavor profile. So I did that. Oh no, I think it was 2 half tablespoons. I did 2 half tablespoons of garlic. And I'm going to just whisk that in there, stir it in some more. You see, it's coming together. It's coming together. And I think I'm going to grab sriracha. I forgot to grab sriracha, so I'm just heading to the fridge to grab the sriracha. I need a little more kick to it, so I'm going to add some sriracha to that. Like I said, my family loves spicy, especially my husband. So I said I always cook my food with a little more spice to it. And that is a legit one. You gotta use that brand of sriracha. The other ones always taste different and weird. So we call that legit sriracha. So if you don't, your sriracha ain't got the green top, you need to go take that to the store and get this one. This one is legit. And then, so what I did was also, I like the PF Chang's sesame chicken. So I got one in there from Kroger's as well. Now, after reading it, I did notice that when I read the back of it, that it had a little bit of oyster sauce in it. So if you don't want the oyster sauce, you want to be completely vegan, you can skip out this phase. But I did add a little bit of this to it, just a heads up. If you do add this one for PF Chang's to your sauce, it does have a little oyster sauce inside of it. But I like the taste of the two, so it kind of made my sauce come complete. So I did do that, and I added just a little bit more to that, and then it just made it all perfect. So like I said, once again, heads up, if you do decide to add the sesame sauce from PF Chang's, be sure to know that it does have a little bit of oyster sauce within it. And that is how the sauce look. Now the cornstarch we're going to use later to thicken up the sauce, so we're going to set the toast aside right now, and then we're going to head over to the stove and let's get our chicken going. So I got the grease nice and hot, so I'm adding the chicken in there. As you can see, it's bubbling pretty good. And we're just going to add the chicken in there, let it cook. I think that the pieces cook about 3 to 4 minutes. You want to just keep cooking it until it gets a hard consistency. You don't want it too hard, so make sure you don't burn it, but you want it to be crunchy. So just cook it. You know, as you can see, I don't have a lot of oil. Just enough oil to base the bottom of the wok, because the woks are very thin, and that's why the food cooks a lot faster when it's in a wok. So you want to make sure that you don't have your temperature too high, because the grease will get hot a lot faster and it can burn your food. So we just have a nice temperature. So I'm just adding that in, and then we're gonna just cook off this chicken. So here I am, just finishing up the last batch of the chicken. It is all done. And as you can see, it kind of like to roll down. It was like real chicken bits that I made from some chicken breasts. I just cut them up and fried them. And that's how my chicken used to look when I make my sesame chicken, which is real chicken. And it's just all plant-based. And it's going to get that same consistency, that same vibe, same taste as the one. And I think there we go. So look at that goodness. And also, you guys can see I got the little pan now, and then the paper towel to kind of strain some of this off. So I'll clean my pot, and I am going to get my sauce going. So let the wok get a little hot, and I'm going to take my sauce and add it to the wok. Before I do that, I'm going to make my cornstarch batter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, and you can use vegetable broth or water to kind of make it okay, like a liquid kind of thing. Because if you pour the cornstarch inside of the sauce like that, you're gonna have like chunks, and so it takes a long time for it to dissolve. So what I'm gonna do is I want to take a measuring cup, pour 1 tablespoon of cornstarch inside of there, and then I'm gonna use the actual sauce that I made and add some of that towards inside of the mixture, and then I am going to mix it up like that way, and that's how I'm going to thicken up the sauce. So that's what you can do. So I'm just adjusting the heat, make sure it's nice and hot. And this is what I'm going to show you guys how I make the cornstarch mixture, the cornstarch mixture using the sauce. So yeah, so this is the cornstarch, the 1 tablespoon, and I'm gonna mix that with the sauce. And then I'm just gonna whisk that in, get it nice and smooth. I think I'd be like 3, maybe 3 tablespoons of the sauce, or 4. I can't recall, but just enough to get enough in there so when I stir it, it kind of blends in. So once again, you don't want to put a cornstarch directly into the sauce because it's going to be like really thick and to take a while for it to dissolve. So I like to do this first, pre-mix it this way. This is going to help the sauce get thicker because the sauce be very little runny. So you want it to be a little thick so it can cook the chicken a lot better. And that's what we did that. So now that is finished, I'm going to take the sauce and pour it in my pan. Make sure your pan is nice and hot. I think in my case, I probably let my pan get a little too hot. So you want it to be hot, and you just basically warming the sauce up. I'm gonna take my whisk and just whisk it together. Zooming in on that. So we're just whisking in the sauce. Make sure it's nice and hot. So you do this a little bit, and then after this, you're gonna add in that cornstarch to make it a little more thicker. Add that cornstarch in right now. And I'm gonna use the whisk. And you probably can see the sauce getting thicker, so that's what you want. You want it to be but you don't want it too thick. So that's why I say just 1 tablespoon of cornstarch is enough. So you don't want it watery, but you don't want it too thick. You want the perfect consistency so you can cook the chicken very good. Next, I'm going to take my chicken that I you put in the oil and coat it with the just egg and also cornstarch. And we're going to add that to the sauce. Now, as you can see, the sauce is bubbling up. You can see it's getting thicker, that's what we want. We want that thickness. You want that bubbly, that's thickening up the sauce. Giving them one more final stir. Now that the sauce is done, I'm going to add in the chicken bits. I'm just giving it a little taste. Make sure it's the right consistency and how I like it, and it tastes pretty good, if I say. So don't be afraid to taste your food. Taste your food as you cook. That is key. Taste your food, and taste your food. There we go. Adding in those chicken. plant-based chicks. Just gonna add all that in. Nice stir. Make sure all that chicken gets coated in that good old sweet and tangy and sweet and spicy sauce. And once the chicken is all coated, since I will need that wok to make the rice, I'm going to transfer that to another pot. So I'm going to put that in another pot and then put the lid on, and our chicken is complete. Oh, I have more chicken. So let me finish off this chicken inside of there then. And then after we finish this one, we're gonna take this out this wok and add it to another pot and set to the side so that we can make the rice. As you can see, it looks pretty good. Looks pretty tasty. Yum yum yum. And guys, this was like I just started like digging into the vegan food for about a week now. I'm still new to this, and this is from the top of my head. So what I learned is that I can take a lot of food that I used to make with meat, use my same recipes, and they just change up the protein. I make a mean vegan meatloaf. I think that'll probably be another one I do, but it's so good. You can't. I think the vegan meatloaf that I make tastes better than the one I make with the meat. But yeah. So, and this is my version of plant-based sesame chicken. And I gotta say, it was good. And this is all off the top of my head. No recipes, no cookbooks, no somebody else's recipe, from the top of my head. And so what I did, I kind of did cheat it. I took one of the tenders out the package and I just cut one up. I took a little sauce from the frying pan and I put a little bit of grease in it. I did one coating of I think I got 4 chunks with the coating of the just egg and of the cornstarch. Put those in there, and I wanted to test it out, see how it would turn out before I started going and cook this for you guys. Say, hey, do this, and I don't know how it was gonna be. So I did cheat, and then once I did that, the little test run, I was like, okay, this works. So now it's okay. Let me do the full thing, and let's go ahead with this. So yeah. So that's my little experience of what I did to make sure it's gonna be the right consistency that I like before I tell you guys to go try to make it at home. So yeah, and now this is me just putting it in the top of pot. And there we go. We have our chicken, our sesame chicken, plant-based style. And would you have guessed this came from frozen plant-based chicken? I noticed there's not, I'm slowly learning, so I like this. I was going to play around with tofu. I love beyond the impossible meat, which is good. Like, this is like the beef one. It tastes like beef. So I was like, how can I make chicken taste like chicken? So we here to experiment, but I have to say it was pretty good. Yeah. So I'm going to just take a little more of that sauce that's left in the pan, scrape that up, add that to the chicken, set it to the side, clean the pot, and we're going to start our fried rice. Alright, so for our fried rice, we got the wok nice and hot. I'm gonna take some of my country crock plant-based butter. And I think I got my pot, once again, my wok got a little too hot, so I had to put it in the back burner to kind of cool it down a little bit. So make sure it's not too hot. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. Add in that. And that's the country crock plant butter, vegan style. And I also going to add in a little of Earth Balance butter. Because I love the taste of this one. That one tastes like legit butter. So the combination of the two is still really, really good. So I'm just starting to make sure it's nice and melted. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in some minced garlic. Once again, like I told you guys earlier, I love garlic and everything. So yeah, so I'm adding in some minced garlic. Give your rice a nice variety of flavors. So we added in that, just a few scoops with my spoon. So I'm gonna add that garlic in, let that cook down a little bit with the butter, and then I'm gonna add in my green onions. I have a lot of green onions. I love green onions. You don't have to use them as I did, or you can take them out, but I think rice is not complete without green onions. So we got my green onions in. I'm gonna just cook that down. Let the onions get a little, soft. You don't want really hard fresh onions. So I'm gonna just cook that down a little bit. I'm gonna get sauce, and as you're cooking with that butter and that garlic and those onions, their aromas is just excellent. It's just like great, and it just smells so good. It's like good cooking. You guys know what I'm talking about. When you start cooking, you add the garlic and the onions. It's like, oh, best smell ever. You're like, oh yay, I can't wait to eat. So we did that, and I'm gonna turn that eye up just a little bit. Cook that down some, and then I'm gonna use the same skillet to add in my Just Fab. Sorry, think about fashion, but my Just Egg. And the Just Egg is, I was shocked because today was my first time actually trying it and like actually trying to scramble it, and I was like, okay, it looked like egg. And once again, that was my cheat thing. Like I did a chicken, I did a Just Egg. I was like, let me try a little bit to see what it looked like egg, what it scrambled. So I took a little skillet, put a little bit inside of there, and I was shocked. Add a little butter and salt, you can tell the difference. So I was like, okay. So yeah, so I did that, and before I add the Just Egg, I'm gonna get a little bowl and remove some of the garlic and onions because I didn't want that to kind of mess up the texture. I didn't know what would it do. I know if I just add regular egg, it'd be okay, but I didn't know how that's gonna do. And with that, so I just took some of it out of it, and put it to the side. And then I'm gonna use the base, like some of that butter that's left in there, to help the Just Egg. So we're just clearing that out. And then we're gonna get the Just Egg. I think I did 3 tablespoons, I believe. I didn't measure out. Well, I guess I just poured. So I guess it's because of 3 tablespoons. That's one thing by me when I cook. People always ask my recipes, and it's kind of hard for me to do because I don't measure for the most part. I kind of go off the top of my head. So it's kind of hard to tell you exactly how much seasoning you should use. Basically, you know your food, you know how you like it to taste, so you just kind of do that. But I'm trying to get better at actually measuring my seasonings. But it's hard for me to do that. I just know and just be right. So it's never too salty, it's never under seasoning, so that's tough. And usually when I follow recipes and they say add this amount of seasoning, I always have to add more because it's not enough, if that makes sense. So yeah, so I'm just scrambling them. As you can see, it's doing pretty well. It's kind of like a legit egg, don't it? So just doing that, and as you can see, it's kind of sticking to the bottom because I didn't really add any oil, and have a lot of fattening, because like a lot of times the real butter and the oils give a little more fat, but I don't have that, so it's kind of drying up quicker. So I'm kind of speeding this up because I don't want the water to get too hard at the bottom, and a lot of times about the bottom, the water, if it gets coated with stuff, it makes it hard for that heat to rise and cook the stuff evenly. So it's cooking, so I'm okay, it's in there, it looks like it's like scrambled eggs. Okay, we good. So I'm going to add in the rest of my ingredients. So once I do that, I'm going to go ahead and add back in that green onion garlic mixture. See, I'm scraping, putting an elbow in there, like put the elbows in there, girl, work it. So yeah, I'm trying to just scrape off that bottom so it's not so sticky. So I'm adding in my green onions and garlic again, mixing that in with the Just Egg. I keep on saying Just Fab, Just Egg. And actually, the Just Egg, it works really well with coating the chicken. I thought I didn't know how it would be, but it did really, really well. So I was like, okay, this is something I can get used to. So if you're scared to go vegan, try vegan stuff, don't be afraid. Step outside your box. I think a lot of times it comes to vegan food, how it's prepared, how is it cooked, how is it seasoned, how does it taste. That's the ultimate thing, and that's what any food. You can have meat and it tastes horrible. You don't know what you're doing. So same with vegan. If you just try, experiment, just do different things, you never know, it may surprise you. So I'm adding in my brown rice, and then we're gonna stir that in there. We're just stirring that up, make sure everything's getting evenly distributed. And then I'm gonna take my frozen carrots and peas. I let them defrost, and then I put them in the microwave for about 3 minutes, just give them a little cook to it. And then I am going to So I'm just adding in some butter. Stir it into there. After I do that, I'm gonna add in my green sweet peas and my carrots. You can do fresh carrots and fresh sweet peas. I just did the ones that was kind of already frozen. That came from Walmart. Let them sit out for a little bit. I defrost them, then cook them in for about 3 minutes. Basically, just gonna be warmed up. So I'm gonna add that to that. And like I said, you can add any vegetables. I know some people like spinach, some people like all type broccoli, all type of different things in there fried rice. So I just did a little bit of carrots, some sweet peas, some onions, a little bit of garlic. Then I'm going to add in my soy sauce, because of course fried rice is not complete without the soy sauce. So I'm going to be using both the low sodium soy sauce and also regular soy sauce. And I'm adding in just a little bit of sesame oil, just a little dab of that. Like I said earlier, you don't want to add too much because sesame oil is kind of overpowering and it kind of would mess with the flavor profile up of your food. So just do just a little bit of that. I think I'm doing like just a dash of that. And then I'm going to add some chili oil. Once again, we love my spice. So chili oil, I did add a little bit too much because I was a little on the spicy side. So once again, I do want to go very light with chili oil because this is super spicy, but it is so good. And then I'm gonna add my soy sauce. So I've got the low sodium because we don't want too much sodium in our food. And then I'm gonna have just a regular soy sauce. I'll put that in there. Then we'll give it a nice stir. Mix that in there. Looking pretty delicious, if I should say. So I was super proud of myself. I was like, I put it off. It looks good, and hoping it tastes good. But I was so excited to pull it off. So yeah, we're just doing that. Give it a nice little stir. Stir. And voila, we have fried rice. And here is the finishing touch of my fried rice. Looks delicious, look like fried rice, yay. So that's my fried rice with sesame chicken done. And we're gonna put this up on a plate and we'll show you how it looks put together coming up shortly. And give it a nice little taste. Tastes good. Okay, bingo. Add a little salt and pepper. Nice, one final stir. And here's the finished result. Looks delish. So next I'm gonna have my husband taste it. I didn't want to taste my stuff, like this is so good. So I have my husband taste it and let's see what he says about it.
Man, let's test this out real quick, see what it tastes.
How is it?
It's good, real good.
Is it, bro? Look at me. Is it?
Yeah, it's real good.
You're not just playing. I'm just saying that because it's be saying that, right?
No, I mean, I don't lie to you, baby. If it's not good, I'm gonna tell you it's not good. And this is good.
Okay.
All right.
And it was a success. My first vegan sesame chicken and fried rice. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe, follow the recipe, do your own thing, let me know what you think. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.